Welcome to Community with Closers. I'm your host, Pat Clark, and this is where closers are born. Get ready for high-energy stories, game-changing strategies, and the relentless pursuit of success. In each episode, we dissect the art of sealing the deal, celebrate triumphs, and explore the grit that defines salesmanship. This is the ultimate podcast for sales warriors ready to conquer the business battlefield. What's going on, guys? Pat Clark here with another Community with Closers. We're excited you're here tonight. Thanks for joining. We got a lot of cool stuff. You're going to be picking this up. If you're listening right now on Spotify or if you're on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate all you guys tuning in. We got an amazing guest today. Really good friend. We've known each other for many years, and I'm excited to bring him on. But cool things, guys, that we're going to be bringing every Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time is sales topics, right? We want to bring you guys innovative stuff. We got AI coming into the game, and so we're going to be talking about that a little bit later, but really cool things. So, again, thank you for being here Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to bring him on. Garrett, what is up, my man?
What's up, buddy?
Not much, dude. Not much. I mean, you could kind of see the sunburn. I was down there in Florida.
I couldn't tell if you were showing me the beard or the sunburn. I was like, you got a ways to go, but keep going, man.
I know. No, there ain't no way I'm matching you, dude. You always got that epic beard.
You know, I gotta let it keep going.
Yeah, I hear that. Well, dude, let's jump into it. So we always do these things 30 minutes jam-packed. That way, you know, somebody's on their way, you know, to the gym. They're at the gym, right? They always say podcast 30 to 45 minutes max. So we're going to jump into it, dude, with your story. So if you can kind of, you know, let us know where you started, what that looked like right from the beginning.
Yeah, definitely, dude. So for those that don't know me, Garrett Bosqui, I'm actually out of St. Louis, Missouri. I kind of joke that I've been in the pressure washing game since I was in the womb. So my old man started Bosqui's Mobile Cleaning back in 1979. I was born in 84. So, you know, I've pretty much been in this business since I was born. But no, you know, he started that. He was in the sales game for years. Like me, couldn't work for anybody. So started his own deal. I started working for my old man when I was like 12, 13 years old. Just working with him, you know, a lot like your kids, Pat, you know, I mean, they go out, help you, you know, help you get jobs done when there's nobody else. So did that for years, worked on a truck for years. Bosqui's was a fleet cleaning company. So we cleaned truck fleets all over St. Louis. We traveled just a little bit, not a lot. And, you know, we at one point had 10 trucks on the road. You know, at one point in the 80s and early 90s, I mean, Frank really had this thing humming. But, you know, did that forever. You know, we actually just sold that side of the company in March of 23. Nice. So kind of crazy, but, you know, I really wasn't ready to get out of it. But, you know, my dad was 77 at the time. And he was out of it. He was retired, playing golf 4 days a week, traveling, could do whatever he wanted to do. But mentally, he just couldn't let it go. You know how that goes. It was his baby, you know.
Oh, yeah.
He just couldn't get it off his mind. So most people are in the background probably booing right now. But, you know, they came to me. I wasn't even looking. They came to us and made us an offer. We took it, and I unloaded the fleet side. Nice. Just this past March.
Oh, okay.
But, started up Maverick SoftWash back in 2015. You know, it was kind of a tough time. You know, I was going through a divorce and trying to start a company at the same time. So, you know, a little stressful. But we got it off the ground, got it built up, 18 months. And my wife and I actually ended up working things out, getting back together. Been together ever since. And, you know, so that was awesome. Thank God for that. And yeah, you know, we've been plugging away at Maverick, man, for years, you know, trials, struggles. Started a Christmas light company in 2017. You know, we're in St. Louis, so we can have some pretty rough winters. And so just trying to make sure we keep these guys, keep these sales reps, keep everybody working, when it's 10 degrees outside. So, that's a big part of my story, man. I love helping people. I love giving back as much as I can. I mean, you know that. You and I have taught classes all over the country together, from SoftWash systems days all the way to, you name it, we've done it together.
Yep.
But speaking of that, that's kind of some crazy stuff too. I never thought that roof cleaning would take me to Europe. Who thinks in their wildest dreams, oh, I'm going to clean roofs for a living, and someday I'm going to go to Europe and teach people how to clean roofs.
Isn't that amazing?
So had that cool experience to go over there and teach a lot of the guys in the United Kingdom and Amsterdam and some different areas how to clean roofs. And then I went over there again to teach sales camps. So that was a lot of fun. Shout out to AC and SoftWash Systems for blessing me to get to do that.
Yes.
And now we're just plugging away, man. We're just trying to make dreams come true.
That's it. I know. It's like giving back. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to think about, right? Because like AC poured into us, right? And it's like, it's pretty cool to be able to bless others, on our journey, like where we failed and like talking to our past self, you know, and it's like, I was there, I was in that exact shoe, and this is what I did. I can only speak on experience, but this is what I did. And, they have to make their choice of what they can do. And so that kind of rolls into our next point is like, sales, right? Like as you're growing Maverick, sales was the biggest thing, right? That put jobs on the board, like got the thing going. So I want to dive into that a little bit. I know you're really good at sales. You've been to Sales Boost and we've taught sales and, you really got the system down. So let's talk about that a little bit. We got a lot of viewers on here and I know this year's a little tough, but we're in busy season now. And so they need some sales tips, right? So what are some things, strategies, would you say, or like things that you've had to develop as you grew your company?
Well, I think the number one thing is you got to have your steps. I forgot what you call them, your 7 or 8 steps or your 10 steps that you always have. When you're going through that sales process, you got to give these guys a process. A lot of people that are in sales themselves, you got to be confident. If you don't have you're not going to close anything. You can close it on price, but who can't do that? I think their big thing is anybody out there that's trying to hire salespeople, the first guy you hire is probably never going to be the guy that you keep ever. When you're first hiring salespeople, they're different animals, man. You know that they're just a different breed. They're, the good ones are rogues that you can't keep, your leash on. And the crappy ones are just that. They're crap. They just, drive around in their car. They throw your flyers in the dumpster at the apartment complex, and you're chasing them the whole time. But I think the big thing that has helped me with sales is just everything that we've always taught. You're creating your packages, you're pricing everything. And I'm sure that was a huge point that was hit at Sales Boost. It was kind of sad I missed Sales Boost this year, but that's something you got to drive home, like price everything. I don't know how many sales reps I bring in and they're just, well, they only wanted the house done. And I'm like, well, good for them, because they probably didn't know that their gutters were dirty or that the deck's dirty or that we could even clean the gutters or that we could even clean the deck, so you got to educate people, And one of the things that I've really pushed myself into, and we can cover later, is commercial sales. I haven't done a residential quote in years, but I spend most of my time, quote unquote, whale hunting. But the residential side of it, dude, you got to be resilient. You got to go in, you got to get to the kitchen table, And I was just working with somebody the other day and they were like, I can't get to the kitchen table. And I said, okay, think of the kitchen table as a metaphor. Okay. I want to sit down and talk to the customer. I don't care if it's on the front porch, if it's on the deck, if it's by the pool. I don't care if you're standing and you're holding your clipboard with your stuff on a trash can lid. I was like, you've got to get them. You got to get some form of tabletop. Sitting is better. And you got to go over everything with them. and don't let the customer direct you.
Mm,
You direct the sale. Don't let them take you off into left field and push
yes.
you.
That's what
You know,
training's for, right?
and you got to, I mean, a lot of my guys, they think that role playing is a joke. They're like, I've been selling for 40 years. I don't need that. And I'm like, man, we all need that. I need that.
Yeah.
When you don't practice, when you don't do it, like I'll tell you right now, man, I'll be 100% transparent with everybody on here. I mean, if I went into a residential sale right now, I would fluster and, jumble my words, and I'd be all over the place because I haven't done it in forever.
Yeah.
But I can walk into an apartment complex and I can hit it like that just because it's what I've been doing.
Yes.
So I think that's a big thing, man, is just, know what your sales pitch is going to be. Have that 30-second elevator speech down so that you can give it, quote everything, package everything. Everybody's teaching packaging now. Get your A, B, and C. We've even started throwing in, other things, whatever we can think of, we're throwing in.
Yep.
We're quoting Christmas lights, in March. I mean,
Nice.
who does that?
Yeah.
But I think that's a big part of our success is creating that sales system that you can follow, that anybody can follow.
Yeah.
I think I saw JC had a video on the other day just about, about Responsibit or whatever. I don't use it, but is your quoting system so easy that you can hand it to anyone and they could do it. They could replicate it,
Yep.
So that's a big thing for me, man.
Yep. I'm with you there because that's the reality, right? Like getting it out of your head and putting it in somebody else's hands so then you can transition through your company and grow the thing, right? Because if you're in it, you're in the weeds, like that's where you get lost and you get beat up and you're like, you're doing quotes, then you're on the truck again, you know what I mean? And that's that like entrepreneur purgatory, right? Like you get stuck in it. And so, when you were hiring salespeople, I can't remember if you didn't just hire one. You were like, let's get 2 or 3.
Yeah. So, well, and actually in the beginning, I fought with my coaches back and forth on this because I'm very good at sales, but I don't enjoy it. It's not like I don't wake up in the morning going, ooh, I got to go get the next one, And so I don't enjoy it, but I'm really good at it. And so, what did I do? I told you guys, I grew up on a truck, cleaning the thing. I mean, that's what my dad always had me doing, go out and clean the thing, go out and clean the thing, And so I was good at being a tech, So the first person I ever hired was a sales rep. But then, what you're talking to is when I used to hire reps, once we got past that point, I'd hire 4, 5, 6 at a time because I knew only maybe 1 or 2 of them were going to work.
Yeah.
And so rather than, I think this is the guy and I'm only going to hire this one guy, we'd bring 3, 4, 5 on and we would train them all at once. And before we would even get through training, I'd have one leave. I mean, we wouldn't even get through a week of training and one would disappear, just never show up again.
Yeah.
And so you start to learn that like, okay, it's just like the law of averages with sales of, hey, I want to be somewhere around a 50 to 60% closing rate. And that means I'm priced right. I'm hitting my numbers, I'm about the same way with sales reps. If I need 3, I better hire 6. If I want 2, I better hire 4 and not just interview them. I hire them, because it's amazing to me how many of them you think the guy that you think is going to be your star turns out to be the biggest flop of them all.
Yep.
And I'll tell you a quick story. We went 2 years ago, I hired a sales manager. I was like, okay, we're going to bring in a sales manager. I want him to build a sales team. I want to take that part off. This was before I sold the fleet washing business. And so I was like, man, if I could hire a sales manager, take that hat off and give it to someone else, I could focus a little bit more on the fleet, focus a little bit more on the Christmas, and the sales will keep driving for Maverick. I hired a guy. He talked the biggest game. He fooled me. He fooled AC. He fooled a bunch of people.
Dang.
We all thought this guy was going to be a rock star. I thought I was going to have 10 sales guys by the end of the month. 3 months into it, he hadn't hired a single person.
Whoa.
Nobody was good enough. Nobody was as good as him. And so he couldn't hire them. In that same 3 months, he only sold about $30,000 worth of work.
Oh my goodness.
And so, and that's what I said this in the beginning. I mean, you have to be careful because, and there's tools out there now, you got Hire Bus and some of these, Disc and, and some of these things that can really help you select the right candidate. Which we didn't have back then when I was hiring 4, 5, 6 guys to get my 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to train these guys. You got to bring in enough that, it's no different than technicians. I mean, we used to do group interviews for salespeople. I'd set one time and I'd bring as many as I could get, sit them at a table, group interview them. And then we would pull them aside and have one-on-ones with them for, 5, 10 minutes. And then we would pick out of that group of who we were going to bring on. But having a training system, make sure you've got training, that you're training everybody the same. We just had this happen too. And I mean, I've been doing this for years and this just happened 2 weeks ago, but everybody in my company was given different discounts. We had one guy doing 5, 10, 15. We had one guy doing 10, 15, 20. We had I'm over here doing 10, 20, 30. I mean, we had, everybody was doing something different. And all of a sudden I'm doing, I'm going through and looking at quotes and I'm going, what in the world is going on? And so I couldn't get, and this is something for everybody. Like if everyone in your company is doing something different, it doesn't matter if it's sales, operations, admin, doesn't matter. If everyone's doing something different, like how do you track anything? How do you measure anything? How do you know what's working? Because I got one sales guy going, my 5, 10, 15's working great. And I'm going, okay, what's your closing rate? And it's whatever it is, and the other guy, well, I thought mine's not working at all, and I'm okay. Well, yeah, your closing rate shows that, and then, not to toot my own horn, but I'm closing everything, and the owner should. I mean, I don't think there's a person out there that if the owner should be, you're the number one salesman. Nobody knows your company like you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge, and it actually just took me until like 3 weeks ago to figure that out. But I think I've known it for years, but it finally clicked one day when I closed like 8 sales sitting behind my desk, just hammering phones going, okay, we need some work on the board.
Yep. Yeah, you get things done. And I think that's where owners get, a little mixed up because they hire salespeople, but then they automatically jump out of the field right away. They might hire one guy and then they give all their leads to one guy that they have no idea if he can close or not. Yeah. And then they're like, I'm going broke. And I'm like, what are you doing?
And they don't change it fast enough.
Yes.
And I've been, we've all been victim to this, it's, Google must be sending us crap leads, or we must not be getting the good leads, or whatever. You make excuses of why they're not closing, until finally one day you figure out it's just, no, this guy just either hasn't been taught. So is it my fault? Like I just didn't teach him, is it just, and you know how this is when you go out and you shadow reps. I mean, they could be saying 1 or 2 things that is hindering the whole or stopping the whole sale, turning the customer just off.
Literally, yeah. 1 or 2 things just going that way, or the presentation goes sideways, or they're not saying that. It's the little tweaks, right?
Yep.
Huge difference.
Or they just don't shut up.
Yep. Yeah, the customer's eyes, they're already like, get over it. Where's the price already? And then you're like kicking them underneath the table. Yeah, like, dude, just wrap it up. They're already closed.
They're gonna buy. It kills me, man. I laugh at that all the time. It's just like they're ready to sign. Just quit talking.
Yeah, you're like, what are you doing? You're about to talk yourself out of a sale. Just
like, you gonna stay for dinner?
Let's go.
That was my favorite one. You gonna stay for dinner?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But those are the things, right? Like the little tweaks. But like you're saying, like if you don't know what's going on through and through, and you're not inspecting what you expect, and you're not approving the tickets, and you're not doing the little things, and you're just like, here you go. have it, and then you think it's on autopilot, you got a serious problem that's about to arise later on. And like you said, they don't catch it in time. That's the biggest thing, is like, they don't fire. They're like, well, they got a family, and I get it, right? Like, you want to be the nice person, you want to help them out, but the problem is, you got to look, when you leave your house and you kiss your kids on the forehead, you got to realize that they're taking money from them. You know what I mean? And that's the reality of it. And I think we take that for granted, is like, we're like, well, we can make it up, or we could try to make it work. And it's like, no, you're just getting deeper and deeper and deeper. I mean, it's happened to me probably 100 times.
Yeah. And I've been right there, I mean, I think there's, compensation goes a long way into that as well, because if you're doing a like base plus commission and they're not closing and they're not selling and they're just costing you that base, I don't care if it's 500, 600, doesn't matter. Every week you're getting hit that $500-600 plus taxes, plus work comp, plus all that, crap that we got to pay. It'll eat you alive. And then, I know personally, I've gone through this because I still am in the company and I'm selling, is, my sales are just paying for everyone else, and so you've got to be able to realize that, and you've got to be able to make that hard decision of, okay, like either we've got to close more deals or you got to move to straight commission. Yeah. And I know, at least for us going forward, we will no longer hire on a base. Everybody's going to be straight commission, or I don't want them. We're just, to me, we're in that spot that just, these people that are coming in for a base, that's all they're looking for. Yeah. In what is it, 10 years that I've been doing this, everybody that I've paid a base to has not really sold to their full potential. Yeah. They're making that enough to get by, that it's just comfortable enough that they don't need to go out and work as hard. I know. And, but the other side of that too, is how to be successful in sales. Are they doing everything that you need them to do? Are they knocking a couple of doors after the sale? Are they putting out a couple of yard signs on the street corners? Are they, putting out the flyers? Are they going to the chamber events, the B&Is, the leads groups? Are they walking into realtors' offices and, and starting conversations? Those are all things that lead to that final outcome that we're trying to get to. Yeah.
And it blows my mind too. Like, they know, you know what I mean? Like, sales is based on your effort that you put in. And so, like, when I hire people, I'm like, look, I'm not here to babysit you. We have a proven system. You follow the system, right? And it works. You're going to get a really good paycheck. But if you go above that system, which you have the opportunity to do, right? Like knocking on doors, doing the little extra things, you're already there. Why not? Right. Yeah. And I've had guys where they're like, well, they don't want us there, or, I don't feel comfortable knocking on doors. You got to get the heck over that crap.
Yeah.
Like, sales is that, and so if they're showing signs of that and they're not doing what you're asking them to do, like, again, love you, but see you later. You got to replace them.
Well, and, dude, I'll give you a good example of that. And so I won't name names, but there's a 18-year-old kid up in Washington that is absolutely killing it right now. And I kind of laugh because the first week he went out and he sold something like $50,000-$60,000 in his first week. Dang. Okay. And he calls me and he goes, did I sell enough? I go, yeah, man, I think you did fine. But it's that mentality of, did I sell enough? I don't feel like I sold enough. And it's like, no, man, you're doing okay. Yeah. Keep it up. Don't stop. But what I love about the kid is like, I'm on the phone helping him with something else, helping him with an issue or answering a question about how to clean something, because he's brand new, and all of a sudden he's like, hang on a second, this neighbor's out in the yard. I'm gonna go talk to him real quick, and I'm like, yes. I'm like, that's what you have to do. If you want to be successful, that's what you have to do. Like, do you see the neighbor across the street while you're doing a quote, wave at the guy at the minimum, scream hi at him. Get his attention, go talk to him. It amazes me how many people won't do that. I know. And I mean, you know me, like something like I've never met a stranger really.
Yeah.
My eyes so high, especially if I've been drinking. Like I want to talk to everybody.
That's right. Yep. I've seen that firsthand. No.
Well, and that's why I love the commercial, man. Because you know what you
Yeah.
do? You go to the socials. You go to the trade shows. They have open bars at all of them. Oh, they might
Yep.
be a cash bar, but you go around, you start rubbing elbows with people.
Yep.
You buy the drink ticket package, and you go around to the people that give you business that are that are drinking their vodka cranberries or whatever, and you start handing them drink tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, they're your best friend. They love you.
Best friend. That's right.
All my work's going to you. Why? Because you bought me a drink. Like, that's it?
Yeah.
Like, I'll buy you all the drinks you want, honey.
That's right. Like, I don't drink, but I do that. I do that.
You don't have to drink. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to drink to do that. And you don't have to pass out drinks, but you have to be social.
Yeah.
And I remember back in the day, I don't remember what event we were at, and I don't even know if I was with you, but I remember back in the day, you'd go to apartment trade shows and you used to pull the shirt off your back and give it to people. They'd come to you, and honestly, and you could tell me if this is wrong or not, but I think it's just you forgot to bring something to give away. But it was just like, oh, giveaway time, here.
Yep. They were all complimenting the shirt, and I was like, shoot, man, like, I remember going to the ATM and getting cash, but I was like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of boring. And so I was like, I got to make an impression because they're going to like, that was probably 8 years ago. They still remember that to this day.
Yep.
They're like, yeah, Pat will give his shirt off his back. You know what I mean? Like, I literally was waving it around. But those are the things. Like, you got to make the impression. You got to go above and beyond because you got to stand out, especially now with everybody being marketed to so much. Little things, giving, a drink ticket away, but building that relationship. And then that's where, and Garrett, like price isn't even an option at that point. Like you're getting high price because of the relationship, and you'll cut out all the, the guys that want it done for $400 or $500, whatever it is, right? Per building. Mm-hmm. And you build that long lasting relationship through those things, and you got to attend it, and you got to call them up on their birthday, and you got to call them at the end of the year and say, hey man, how did all my projects go, last year? How can we improve?
Yeah.
Like little things.
Well, and I think what a lot of people don't understand too is, everybody sees the big fish, sees the whale, and they're like, ooh, I want that. I want that big apartment complex, or I want that HOA or that whatever. Yeah. And, like we have a big one right now. We clean a management company. We do all 18 of their properties all over the country, but what people don't get is it took me 4 years to build the relationship to even let them even think about letting me do that, but the beauty is I'd been cleaning the stuff locally for so long that they were like, we love this guy. Like, we're tired of all these other companies that are on our other properties. Like, hey, would you be interested in just handling everything for us? And it took me kind of putting that into their mind, but it took 4 years to actually fully land everything they own. It was like, here's a piece. Okay. Here's a piece, and so you have to be patient. And so like my sales reps, like going back to sales reps, like they want to go after these big jobs, but what they don't they understand it, but they don't. It's like, yes, that will be a big payday for everybody. Yeah. But it could take 3 months. It could take 6 months. It could take 6 years to land that one job, that you're trying to go after for that big nut, and as an owner, that's okay. Cause I don't think you're going to go away. You own the company. You're not going anywhere. So if you spend your time working those and nurturing them and talking to people and going to the little events and doing all those things, they work out great. Yeah. But I think something else that I feel like we have to touch on if we start talking commercial is not getting yourself way too weighted commercial to residential if you're not seasoned in the business. If you've got 1 or 2 trucks and you're going after nothing but commercial, you're going to have a major cash flow problem if you're a young business. Yes. You get to a point where you've got a residential truck or maybe 2 that are just 100% residential that are paying the bill, then you can go after all the commercial you want, and you can have a commercial truck, which you've had, I have. We have commercial trucks. That's all that truck does. It goes out and does all the big whale jobs.
Yeah, that's
and
gold.
It is, but I've even got, now that I'm sure those that are friends with me or whatever. I mean, we had a big truck wreck, that took one of our trucks out, and so my commercial truck's down.
Yeah.
And so you got to be careful, because now we're kind of in a little bit of a cash flow problem, even though we'll be okay. But you can get yourself really quickly in a cash flow problem when things don't go the way they're supposed to.
Yeah.
And so people just have to be mindful of that. They have to be careful. That cash flow, residential is that lifeblood of most of these roof and exterior cleaning businesses, for sure.
I agree. Yeah. If you're smaller, 1, 2, 3, 4 trucks, you gotta have that residential cash flow, because, you're talking 60, 90, 120 day payouts on some of these bigger jobs. And not to mention, they like to push that check down the thing. And you got to have systems in place where you're not the owner calling the thing. You need to have somebody in the office that can be invoicing them right before the job is done, and making sure that's a smooth process. That way you get paid, and it's easy on their end too, right?
Yeah.
Like if you seem desperate and stuff like that, you got to think this isn't just one time. They're going to use you over and over and over again.
Yeah. And that's a big thing is, especially when you get to like where I'm at, or where you were or still are, but you start landing 10, 12, 18 properties for one management company. And then you're calling them every other week going, where's my check? Where's my check? Where's my check? You're not going to have that contract very long.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a big thing on it, of just being able to manage your cash flow and being able to, have enough residential, have enough techs and jobs on the board that's gravy money when it comes in. That's profit in the owner's pocket.
Yeah.
That's buying the next truck.
Yeah.
Putting another truck on the road. That's more marketing to go after something else.
Yep.
You're able to more strategically use that money from your big commercial projects. And, but you got to be smart with it, and they're different animals. They really are. How you go about them, how you look at them, do I need to close streets to clean this thing? Like what all is happening for me to be able to do this?
Yeah, there's a lot of verticals there. You know what I mean? And there's tools you can utilize. If you're just getting into commercial, if you guys are watching, you're just getting into commercial, you're listening on Spotify, right? Like, you can go to lift companies, and if you got something, start small, 3 stories, 4 stories, 5 stories, right? Start small and ask a lift company to come out, measure it for you. They'll kind of walk you around the project. You know how to clean, right? So it's okay. Now let's get the lift on there. How do we get up that high, right? What does that look like? Can your equipment do that? And then just walk around the property. What are some, property protection things you can do when you're talking about hotel? I remember we had an OSHA inspector, Garrett, at this hotel we were cleaning. And my guys, thank God, they were harnessed in. They were doing all the things. And he came out and complimented them on what they were doing. And he's like, I'm leaving, but I'll be back. So he was like, you know what I mean? Like, don't take that off because I'm not here. But we didn't even know he was there. He just walked out and, said that.
Those guys like to watch from the background, man. Most of, I won't say all of them, most of them, all the ones I've met are not like walk right up into your face and like, what are you doing? Most of them are the ones you see leaning up against a pole or a car, just watching you, just going, come on, make a mistake. I dare you.
Yep. They got their eye up.
And, but yeah, I mean, they can be a pain, but if you're doing what you're supposed to do, and that's where, like what you just said, man, like these lift companies, they will, we had a big church we just cleaned last year. And I mean, we called our lift guy and we're just like, hey, I need you to come over here and tell me what we need. Like, I no longer do these big commercial projects, say, oh, I need a 125 footer.
Yeah.
I bring them out and I walk the project on I might have bid it 3 weeks ago, but I work a day out with them. I meet him out there. Like you just said, we walk that whole thing together. Hey man, what do I need? You probably get away with just a little 24-foot scissor lift over here, but yeah, we're going to need this over here. but you don't need a 125 footer. You can get away with an 85 footer. You boom it this way, get around that corner, but they know these things. They know what those machines can do. And so utilizing those resources, they don't charge you for that.
No, yes.
They want you to lift. They want you to rent it.
Yeah.
So it's just little things like that, chemical on site, you're going to need to have it on site. What's that going to cost? Yeah. Any other, like you said, you got to cover things, it's just a whole different animal, and you really got to, dot your I's, cross your T's, when you're doing those types of jobs, just to make sure you are prepared and ready.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing that can happen is you get out on one of those jobs and you're not prepared. And then the next thing oh, well, I didn't price in a lift. And now the customer says they're not paying for it, and you end up, there goes all your profit.
Yeah. And that's why in the beginning, I did all my commercial stuff. And when I started like kind of giving that away to one of my top reps, I was like, I'll give you 5%, but I'm going to help you. And then when you don't need my help anymore, you get the full 10% for the commercial. And then that way he was like, Pat, get out. You know what I mean? He was kicking me out, 3 weeks later. And I was like, okay, he's got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's a huge point though. I mean, this is, sales talk here, you can send your reps, like all my reps are residential reps, but you can let your reps go out and cultivate some of this stuff.
Yes.
But then they need to bring it to you. Like, hey, I got this contact, we need to go talk to this guy, or you need to go talk to this guy, because 90% of these things, like, you don't want just your run of the mill sales rep quoting this stuff. Yeah. Because once you hit commercial, residential, you have a price list. Okay. You have all your prices written down, laminated, you update it regularly, and it tells them how to price everything on a house. But at least for me and probably a lot of other people, when you get into the commercial spectrum, those prices could have huge shifts that are based off experience. Hey, it's limestone, it's granite, it's, whatever surface it is, I've got to up it. Hey, it's absolutely filthy. Like, it's beyond gone. Like, I need to up this price, hey, I need to, rent a drone to clean this thing. What's that going to cost? I mean, that's now a new topic of conversation, is all this drone crap. I can't decide if I like it or not, but they're cool.
Yeah. Definitely gets a lot of pictures. I'll tell you that. When you put up a drone in the air, everybody's snapping pictures. They're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Right.
So
they also look at you funny just when you're flying a drone to take pictures.
I know.
What's this guy doing? You supposed to be doing that? But there's just a lot of different things that you got to look at and a lot of angles you got to cross. And, you just have to be ready mentally and you got to be prepared. You've got to put some stuff in there to make sure you cover everything, that you don't accidentally forget something, or buffer it a little bit in case you did forget something. You definitely don't want to walk into a 200, 300,000 square foot property, or building and be the cheapest guy. You just don't want to do it. It's not worth it.
You'll be in trouble.
Oh yeah, great. You can say, hey, I cleaned the thing, that everybody knows the landmark. But if you didn't make any money, who gives a shit? Who cares?
That's exactly right.
So
you'll be surprised how many people don't make money on commercial jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They get these things and then they're like, what is going on? At the end, I mean, some jobs were pulling 40%.
Yeah. So the last run. So we, on these out of town stuff, we only go out of town twice a year. And we just kind of go on a big circle and we just hit everything. They're gone for like 3 to 5 weeks.
You were just in our backyard getting bleeds.
Yeah, I love it, man.
I know it.
Precision takes care of me. It's like we got properties right there and you're in Duncan. And I mean, they take care of me. They let me buy bleach off of them. I love them. They take good care of us. And then I'm in Sean Baker's backyard. He takes care of me too. He bailed me out of when we wrecked our truck. I can't thank him enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just gotta be prepared for that stuff. But I forgot where I was going with that. But we've got that loop that we do, and I was shocked because last fall when we did it, we had a 39% net on it.
Yes,
and we were traveling, which shocked me. I was paying higher prices. Well, in some areas I was playing higher. Like you get down into Miami and stuff and bleaches, less than $1 a gallon. I mean, it's not a big deal, but
Yeah.
like our Kansas City stuff, we were paying like $8 and $9 a gallon for bleach, and it's insane because you're getting it in drums, they're shipping it, it's just all this goofy stuff. Yep. But, those are things I didn't even take that into account. And we still hit 39%.
That's what I'm talking about. Bid it right.
Got to price it right,
That's right.
And there's tricks to that too, but those are trade secrets.
That's right. Yep. That's exactly right. Cool, man. Well, dude, we are right up on time. That was like fire, right? You were spinning off. So appreciate you, Garrett. It's been amazing having you on the podcast. We'll definitely have you on again awesome. Because I know you're a wealth of knowledge, man, and you're a giver. So we appreciate that. So what I do for everybody on the podcast, I say, what's one thing, if you can talk to your previous self or somebody on here just to give them a tip, what's one big thing that you think would help somebody out this evening?
So I think know your strengths. Everybody on this call has something they're strong at, whether that is you're good at sales, you're good at marketing, you're good at the administrative, you're a good cleaner. Don't suggest that one, but everybody has a strength. Hire for your weaknesses. Okay. We can't all do everything. Don't wear every hat. In the beginning, you don't have a choice. If you're a one-man band, you're out, marketing the thing, selling the thing, cleaning the thing, invoicing the thing, depositing the check, you're doing it all. You gotta get through that part of it, but figure out your weakness, hire for it. If you hate admin, there's virtual assistants out there that can do great for you that will cost you next to nothing, so hire for your weaknesses. Stay in your strong zone. If you're good at sales, stay in sales, go out and sell it, kill it, grill it, put it on the table, put the money in the bank and just don't give up. I think that's the biggest thing. I see so many people throw their hands up and give up. Yeah. And if you'd have talked to me 30 days ago, I think we all have that moment where we want to burn it all to the ground, but we work our butts off. It's not worth it.
Yep. I'm with you there. So we say Goya and never give up.
There you go. Love it.
Good stuff. No moss right there, man. We look up to both of you guys. Thank you for all your help. You both always take my call. That's what I'm talking about.
Anytime, buddy.
Yep. Anytime.
I love to help people.
Yes. I know. It's so rewarding, man, to like pour in because it's cool because we've been through a lot of the stuff, and through it a time at a time, right?
We've both been through a lot and probably the same things multiple times.
Exactly. I know. We learned the hard way.
Over and over the hard way.
Yeah.
And then we stand back and we go, I knew not to do it that way.
I know.
But I did it anyway.
Yep. But it's all good. We're still here making it happen.
There you go.
So
you got to just keep going. We got people to help, lives to enrich,
yes.
I will say this too, do it for your people.
Yeah.
My wife probably yelled at me for that one because, I do too much for my people sometimes. But do it for your people. The coolest thing in the world is when an employee comes in, they're in a new car, even if it's not brand new, but it's new to them, or they bought the house or the rent, they got the rent on the new house. Or sometimes it's as simple as, I got the tattoo I wanted. Yeah. In this day and age, it's that simple, so do it for your people, build a company that they can build their lives with and just go out and do it. Goya, do it.
Goya, baby. That's it. Awesome. Well, Garrett, thank you again. We appreciate you. Buddy. Yeah, man. Well, we'll have you on here. So everybody have an amazing night. You still got 2 days to crush it. So take what Garrett said, apply it this week, and let them know. Garrett, where can they reach out to you?
So just about all socials, I'm at Garrett Bosqui. Otherwise, if you want to follow the company, it's at Maverick SoftWash on literally everything.
Awesome. Good stuff. We'll reach out to Garrett. Tell him your wins after this podcast. Yeah. So reach out to him. Tell him all about your wins. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys. Have an amazing night.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks.